Yeah,
Yes, Ram. We three of us, me, Venu, Hanit, we are formal Capgemini employees, and Hanit, me, both are working in SCL. Still, Venu is in Capgemini.
Okay, okay, okay. Good.
Yeah.
Sorry, I was away. Maybe you. Hello?
Yeah, Abdul, go ahead.
Yeah. So I'm sorry, I was away. Was there any question?
So we were introducing ourselves. So do you want to introduce yourself?
Yeah, I have 13, 14 plus years of experience into SAP. I I was into IBAP, then I was into almost 8 years into BW, then BPC, BI, HANA, and now into SAC. So almost
Okay.
3 plus of years of experience into SAC.
Okay. Okay. Perfect. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, that's everyone. That's good. So we have an introduction about everyone, and I know now that only four of you have less than 10 years of experience, and the rest of you all are 10 plus years of experience, which is good, which brings out a lot of expertise and experience. So the overall experience of this entire batch is in 100 plus years. So there are about 14 of you, and 10 of you have more than 10 years of experience. That itself brings it to overall collective 100 plus years of experience in SAP. Right? That's a very, very good number for a training like this. So yeah, let's share the knowledge and let's all grow together. So with that, let me walk you quickly through the course content that we are planning for this course, and then we'll start with the today's session. Right. So this is the course content. So module one is basically. So can you see my screen?
Yes, Ram. We can
yes,
able
Yes,
to
we
see.
can see.
Okay. And one ask from me is, if sometimes if I'm talking something and I'm not sharing the screen, please remind me. And if sometimes uh, for long, if you don't hear my voice, then also remind me saying that you have audio problem or something like that. Okay. So the first module is introduction to Datasphere, and in this I will be covering, what is cloud and what is BTP and why BTP, right? So what is this all about BTP? What exactly is BTP? And what are some of the popular SAP cloud applications? So we talk about Datasphere, we talk about SAP Analytics Cloud. Are they the only applications? Are there other applications? So how does SAP's cloud landscape look like? And then we'll see what is SAP Datasphere itself and how is it positioned and what are the capabilities, etc. We'll also see into the architecture of Datasphere, and we'll see about SAP's data warehousing strategy, because SAP has other products also in the market, right? So how do they, put them all together into a strategy, and how BW, Datasphere, and other tools fit together in that particular strategy, and how is the customer's investment, current investment into BW, how long are they protected, and what is SAP's way forward, etc. And we'll also talk about the popular data fabric, right? So now every company is building data fabric, every company has a data mesh, and HANA has a data lake. So what are all these terms and what do they mean? And how does Datasphere fit into that? And we'll also see about the two options of setting up Datasphere tenants. So one is you can directly have a Datasphere tenant as a standalone enterprise application, or you can have a SAP BTP instance, and from there you can spin up a Datasphere tenant as well. So we'll discuss what is the difference and how do you do that. But you don't have to do it actually to set up the account. The accounts are already set up for you. We'll just see the theoretical view of it, and we'll be logging into the Datasphere tenant, and we'll be seeing how to navigate within the Datasphere. We'll also discuss about the key features. So when we navigate through the Datasphere screen, we'll talk about, okay, what are each of those applications and what do we do in each of those things. And coming to the module two, so which is administration, and administration is a good thing to start with, because in many of the trainings I see that the administration is kept towards the end or it's completely skipped. But actually, it's good to start with administration, because then you understand, so what are roles, and how are SAP standard roles look like, and how do you use the standard role as a template to create a custom role, and what are scoped roles, which was introduced sometime in the DataSphere. It was not in the beginning, but later it was introduced. And how do you create a user, and how do you assign a role to the user, and what happens when you create roles and assign to users, and how do you manage users? Someone is leaving the company, how do you delete them, and how do you transfer the objects, etc. And we'll also see about transporting content, right? So in a production environment, you'll be creating DataSphere content in one tenant, and maybe you have to migrate them to another tenant. So we'll see how transport works like in DataSphere. And finally, we'll also discuss about how to enable logging, and how do you audit the logs, and how do you do housekeeping. So that is about administration. Administration is a very deep topic. So we'll be covering only these things in our training, because administration can itself be its own topic. We'll cover these things, and if and when required. So for example, there is more like data access control and so on. That all we'll be covering, because that is very core to the analytics. But other than that, we'll not be covering like setting up your custom mailing server, etc. Right? So those are all admin topics, but they are all very advanced and not related to the core of data analytics. So coming to the third module, which is space management. So we'll be starting with space management, and we'll be understanding what is a space, and how do you create a space, and what are the various parameters that goes into a space. And also we'll be seeing about the naming convention that SAP suggests while you are creating a space, and why is it good to stick to naming conventions. And also we'll be seeing how you can use scoped roles to assign users to have access in your space. And we'll also do certain other things like managing a space, like locking, unlocking, etc. and everything. And we'll be creating a database user to access the HANA Cloud or the Open SQL schema behind the DataSphere. That is one thing unique about DataSphere compared to other SAP Cloud products. In other SAP Cloud products, we'll be only working on the cloud application itself. We'll not have any direct access to the backend database. But here in DataSphere, we have the leverage. So in that particular space, which is nothing but a schema in the database, we can create a database user, and we can get read and write access to that layer. And we'll later see with that access what we can do, and how can we connect external tools, and what are the things you can do with read and write to the database level, etc. And then coming to module 4, which is about data integration. So this is a very important module, because DataSphere, it is all about bringing data from various sources together, and how is it supporting SAP data sources and non-SAP data sources. So for SAP data sources, we'll be connecting to SAP BW and SAP S4HANA and SAP HANA Cloud. Any two out of these three, or maybe all three also, will be connecting. And for non-SAP data sources, we'll be connecting to GCP or AWS or Azure and OData service, right? So that will give you a clear picture of how to connect to an on-prem data source, how to connect to a cloud data source, and how to connect to SAP data source, how to connect to non-SAP data source, and what are the various configurations that are required. For example, while connecting to some data source, you have to set up you have to import a certificate, you have to whitelist a domain. All those things are involved. So we'll see all that, and we'll set up different connections. And we'll also look at the different middleware that are involved. So there are 3 specific middlewares. So Cloud Connector, Cloud Agent, and Data Provisioning Agent. So we'll look at it. So I'll even show how it is set up in our landscape, and how that enables the connection between BW and DataSphere and SAC, etc. Right. So, and we'll also discuss about when to use which middleware, because there is an air of confusion even among people with experience to know like when to use what combination, and do we have to use it? Can we directly connect, and all those things? So we'll first see what are they and how to use them, and then we'll see when to use them and in what combinations. So in the data integration module, I would say is pretty extensive. So we are covering everything. We'll also see about replicating data, which is bringing data into DataSphere. And we'll also see about data federation, which is like keeping the data virtually in the source system itself and accessing it through remote tables. Right? So that is kind of extensive. That's one of the unique things about this training. And all these systems are, the DataSphere system we use, the SAC system we use, all these are licensed instances. They are not trial instances. So you will have access to all the enterprise features. There is no feature restriction. So you'll be able to have a very good hands-on. And coming to the module 5, okay, so we have integrated the data. So we have connected to different source systems. So what is next? The next thing is acquiring the data, right? So now the source systems are connected. The next step is we'll see how to create tables and acquire data. And we'll also see how to work with remote tables where we just use virtual, the data stays in the source system. We access it through remote tables virtually. And finally, we'll see about the various flows. So there is data flow, there is replication flow, there is transformation flow. So we'll see what are the various flows in detail and what are the options inside the data flow. Inside data flow, there are many operators. So we'll go into details of each operator and understand, okay, so when to use what and how is data flow help us to solve certain problems. And if all the other operators are not enough, how we can use Python script operator to use Python coding to do some data cleanup and things like that. And we'll also see about replication flow and transformation flow. And in transformation flow, we'll also see the two types of transformation flow, one using the graphical views and the other using SQL view, etc. We'll also be seeing task chains, right? So some of you are from BW background, so you know what is a process chain. So similarly in DataSphere, we have a concept called task chain. So we'll see how what is a task chain, how to create a task chain, etc. And in task chain, yeah, we'll also see how to trigger notifications and things like that. And coming to module 6, which is data modeling in the data builder, right? So some of the modules, even though they are in the course content, they are listed sequentially. Some of them we'll be doing parallelly. For example, without creating a table or without creating a view, etc., we will not be able to do the data acquisition and all, right? So we'll be doing them in parallel. End of the training, all the topics will be covered, but not necessarily in this order that is given. It sometimes they'll be running in parallel. Sometimes we'll do something that comes later before and like that. So the order can change, but end of the training, everything should be covered. So in this module, coming to data modeling, we'll see what is entity relationship model and how do we create ER diagrams in DataSphere and how does that help us in DataSphere. And we'll see about how to create tables and what are the what you can do with views and what creating association in a ER diagram means and how do you export and import ER diagrams as a JSON file and so on. And then we'll go into graphical view and understand what are the different things that you can do with graphical view. And we'll be creating simple graphical views and we'll understand what are the types of joins it is supporting, what are the, how you can do union. And we'll also see in the graphical view itself. So when you are doing something graphically, how the SQL is generated. So we'll see the preview of SQL so that you will be becoming more and more comfortable with SQL. And slowly we'll move on to the SQL view where you will be writing the SQL and you will be achieving, the view with code. So in graphical view, we'll do it through click and configuration. And in the same time, we'll be analyzing the SQL that is getting generated. By that, you should be comfortable with SQL. And when we move to the SQL view, you should be able to write the SQL. So basically, we'll try to understand these classes. There are many other things you can do, like functions that are in the SQL view for calculations and so on. So that also will be covered. But the basic SQL syntax that for a select statement that you should know, we'll be covering these classes. And then we have, other than SQL, we have SQL script also. So when required, we'll be covering the SQL script as well. So where you can do conditional statements and looping and so on. And then we have something called as intelligent lookup in DataSphere. So using that, we'll see how you can do exact match and then how you can do fuzzy match and how it helps in handling typos and common spelling mistakes and errors like that in a data project. And moving on, we'll be covering some of the advanced data modeling topics in Data Builder. So here we'll understand what are the various semantic types of tables. So there are a lot of types like fact, relational data set, analytic data set, which is deprecated now. And there are many semantic data, types, and we'll understand the meaning of each of them. And parallelly, we'll be seeing, okay, so if I'm creating a text entity, what happens in SAP Analytics Cloud? Okay, so can it support translation? So if I have products and the product description in English, and then I maintain it as a text table separately, can I maintain multi-language text? Yes. And then how does that look in the report? So like that, between this module and the reporting module, we'll have very close collaboration. Like we'll be doing some modeling, and the end result we'll be seeing in the reporting. So like that, we'll understand what is text entity, how do we support translation, what is hierarchy, and there is now a new hierarchy called hierarchy with directory, and what are the key things like currency and units, etc., and how do you do currency conversion, and what is this new analytic model, and what used to be analytic data set, and why is it deprecated, and how you can move from analytic data set to analytic model, and so on. So this is kind of advanced data modeling. Why it is called advanced? It's not complex. Why it is called advanced is because the previous thing is a modeling that is close to the database layer, right? So that is the low level modeling which you do. So you create tables, you create views, etc. The other thing, the advanced modeling, is kind of close to the reporting layer. So here you add more semantic meaning, and you try to create objects that are very relevant for reporting. So that's why it's called advanced modeling. That does not mean it is complex. And then coming to the business builder. So here again, we'll be looking at what is the difference between the data builder and the business builder, what types of users use the data builder and what types of users use the business builder. And in business builder, we have different things like dimension, fact model, consumption model, etc. So we'll be looking at each of them. And in consumption model, we have something called as perspectives. So we'll see how to create perspectives in data in Business Builder, and also how to consume these perspectives in SAP Analytics Cloud. And also coming to the module 9, which is very important module, which is about securing data with authorization. So when it is DataSphere or any analytic product, one of the important ask or the feature that customers need is the data protection, right? So not everyone should be able to see all the data. So there may be some sensitive data that only authorized users should see. For example, you are working in HR data, and if you can see everyone's salary, then that's an issue, right? Because that creates a lot of problems. So only few selected, HR users should be able to see that. So like this, how do you enforce using security concepts in the data builder as well as in the business builder? So we have something called as data access control, and then we have something called as an authorization scenario. So we'll see how to set them up and how to use them and how it looks like in reporting with the data access control and without access control, etc. And coming to module 10, so we'll see about one of the unique selling points of SAP products. So most of you have worked with a lot of SAP products. So one of the unique selling point of SAP product is the out-of-box standard content from SAP. So SAP understands the business, the customers very well, and then they provide industry-based solutions and line of business solutions out of box. For example, in SAP BW, we have business content, right? So same way in DataSphere and SAP Analytics Cloud also, we have business content. So we'll see what are the business contents that are delivered and what are the types of the business content. And we'll understand how you can identify a business content from the documentation, how you can find and activate them in the system. And then one of the common questions in real-time project is that, okay, I already have a business content activated in my system, and now SAP has released version 2 or made some changes. So how do I re-import that? So re-import scenario, will it affect my data, or how do I do it in a proper way, etc. So we'll be seeing in detail about the business content in this module. Coming to module 11, that's where we do reporting. So the main reporting we'll be doing in SAC only. So as Ankit showed you, So for this training, he has created users for you in both DataSphere and SAC. So which is a benefit because earlier we planned only giving DataSphere access, but then we thought, okay, you know what, SAC is very integral, and Ankit also agreed, and he gave access to SAC also. So you have unrestricted access in SAC as well. So we'll be creating all the modeling scenarios as discussed in the previous modules, and we'll be testing their impact in SSE stories predominantly, right? And we'll also see how to create connections between DataSphere and any one of the third-party reporting tools. So if you all say Power BI, then yeah, let's do Power BI. If you all say Tableau, let's do Tableau. Or if you all say I want XYZ reporting tool, we will do that. But the fundamentals will be the same. How do you enable certain things in DataSphere? How do you configure certain things? How do you allow IP addresses? All those will be same. So only difference is the tool you are connecting to. So one of the tools we'll learn, and we'll be just showing how to do the connection, and we'll show how to create a simple report. And this is not going to be any deep dive or a long look into that particular reporting tool. And coming to one of the Excel add-ins, so we have a SAP Analytics Cloud add-in for Excel, which is one of the ways in which you can consume data from SAC and also from DataSphere directly inside Microsoft Excel. So more and more in real projects, the customer asks us for the consultants to know about this Excel add-in also. So we have also included that in the training module. So we'll be seeing how to install that particular add-in and how to configure and connect to a particular system, and how do you consume the DataSphere content inside Excel using that add-in. So that is the module on reporting. And coming to module 12, so which is everything else. So whatever we have not covered till the module 11. So there are a lot of new things like the data catalog, data marketplace, and the artificial intelligence features, and the best practices, performance optimization, the roadmap of DataSphere, and the project implementation methodology. So SAP has a methodology called Activate. So we'll see what are the phases in a project implementation and so on. And at the end of it, we'll discuss about the common challenges faced in projects. And this is a very good group because a lot of you have a lot of experience. So that will be a very good discussion. And also we'll be giving. We are planning to give you at least every week. We are planning to give you assignments. So on whatever topics we are covering, we'll be giving you assignments, and we'll not be checking if you have done it or not, but for your own improvement and understanding, I encourage you to complete those assignments. Okay. So these are all the modules that we have planned for this training. So any questions on any of this?
Hi, Ram. Santosh, I have one question. In the presentation you have given at the end, reporting.
Go ahead.
Where we have, to move ahead with the connecting DataSphere with third-party reporting tools of Power BI and Tableau. So both of the things will be explained, both or either of the thing is selected. Like in Power BI or
either one of that, or any other third-party tool also. Anyone. I mean, why not both of them is because they are very similar. So if you know to connect one, maybe the other you can take it as an assignment and try to do on your own. And if you face challenges, maybe on the next session you can ask the Q.
So basically, what do you prefer to go ahead among these two? Which application?
So I mean, I would ask from the group. So if you say, so I would say Power BI because that has a big market share when it comes to reporting tools. But if you all say Tableau, I would go with Tableau.
Okay.
So my plan is like if there is no voting and all, my plan is to do Power BI because a lot of the SAP customers and in data analytics marketplace itself, Power BI has the huge market share.
Correct. So it's even I would like to vote for the same. Yeah.
Okay. Perfect.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay. So I think Armando, you had some question.
No question. I'm okay. Thank you.
Okay.
I have a question. Are
Hi,
you
this is
touching?
Abdul.
Sorry, please go
Sorry.
ahead.
Hey, hi, this is Abdul. Are you
Yeah.
covering a BW bridge?
Yes, I have the same question.
Okay. So for BW Bridge, we require a separate licensing. That's why we have not put that in the course module. What we were thinking is, so BW Bridge is again more and more important, and a lot of you are also from BW background. So we'll cover it theoretically, but we don't have the license for it to do it practically in the DataSphere tenant.
So BWB is required another separate license. It is not part of DataSphere.
That's what Ankit inquired, and when he set up the DataSphere tenant, that's what we came to know. So we'll check on that and we'll see if we can get it. But at the moment, yeah, so BW Bridge, we don't have a separate, we don't have the license for it.
Okay.
So, what do you advise on this one for us?
So I'll show you how to do that, and we'll be having a session on BW Bridge and the theoretical concepts of it, but we cannot do that on the system.
Okay. And meanwhile, Ankit, also will verify whether it is possible to get to arrange a BW bridge also, right?
Yeah, so that's the thing. Like he's on discussions, and so anyways, he's going to purchase a few more DataSphere licenses anyway. So he's on discussion. So he'll be seeing how much is it going to cost, or is it doable, etc. in this landscape.
All right, fine. Please let us know if you have any information on this.
Yeah, sure.
And Ram Amma here. Again, the landscape, we have a couple of projects has data coming from SAP and non-SAP system, like SAP data is going to DataSphere, or non-SAP data is going to Databricks, and they are using dual landscape of project like Power BI and SSC, right? So, so how that would, let's say and in that case, you told the currency conversion is coming, because that is one of the actually crucial part right now. So hopefully we'll do that in practical, right?
Yeah, we'll be doing currency conversion practically. Yes.
Okay.
Okay. So we'll be starting with the space management. Why? Because the space is central to DataSphere, right? So today's session, we'll see what is a space and how to create a space and everything. And then we'll go back and we'll talk about administration in parallel. Because when creating spaces, if you want to allow a particular user to have access, we need to know how to create a role and especially a scoped role and so on. So in today's session, we'll try to cover topics like how to log into DataSphere and what are the key features in the DataSphere, and the space management and administration. So some of these topics are already covered in the demo session. I don't know how many of you have missed it. So any of you missed the demo session? Can I see a quick raise of hands so that I know?
Yes, Ram.
Yes.
Me, Aneet, and Venu, we haven't attended that. So
Okay.
Ram, even myself, I couldn't attend for that, demo session. Of course, I was given a link to have the recording that was available. I just have gone only, not completely. I didn't get a chance to look into that completely. So if you can give us a recap on that, would be highly appreciated.
Sure. So we'll recap this, but maybe on the next session, we'll recap this because to those who have attended, it might be kind of boring. So if we wait till the next session, they will also forget most of it. So it will be a recap for them as well. And also, I was not prepared with those slides and everything open. So I will be honest. So I will make them ready. So it is there. I have to search in the drive and then open it and present it. But for today's session, what I was prepared was to start from here, log on in DataSphere and the key features and administration and space. So we'll do that. And later, yes, I'll surely recap all the other topics which are in the introduction module as well. So now again, another quick raise of hands so that I understand how many of you, so maybe yeah, you can drop your hands now. So I want to understand how many of you don't have access to DataSphere yet. Okay, Pratap doesn't have access. Okay, so I think a couple of people, again, 5-6 people don't have access. So I think you will be getting the access soon. So for now, if you require, you can create trial accounts in the DataSphere, and that is okay for now. But yeah, Ankit is working on it. Probably he will raise a request to get more licenses, and usually it comes in few hours. So probably by tomorrow you should have. If not, there is no, I mean, it's very unlikely that you should not have it tomorrow. But if that fails also, next week you will surely have the licenses. But yeah, in the meantime, if you want, you can create a DataSphere trial account and you can follow along. So
Ram,
now,
Omar here again. One question.
yeah,
So, what the duration? Let's say weekend you're doing, right? Is many hours you'll be doing the course?
okay. So every week we'll be doing 2 sessions, Saturday and Sunday, for 3 hours, and the duration we are planning is for 36 hours. But mostly with Q&A and people asking different things, it might extend up to 40 hours. Right? So we are planning for 36 hours, which means what? So one weekend is 6 hours, right? So it is like 6 weeks, which is 1.5 months. So that is the typical duration. Sometimes when there are more questions, or if something is not working, or some festival happens and everyone wants a holiday on that day, something like that, it can extend one session more, like one weekend more. So it's up from 36 to 40 hours.
Okay. So each day you're saying 3 hours, 6 hours, right?
6 hours, yes.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay. Okay, so coming to DataSphere. So this is how the DataSphere looks like, right? So when you log into the system, this is the home screen that welcomes you. And here there are a lot of, can extend one session